We ready? Emergency podcast.
I think we're
Emergency
ready.
show.
It's good to see you, broskies, again.
They didn't use the same. They didn't use the Celtics fans' favorite exception. The TPE of all time goes unused. We got to talk about it. Emergency podcast. I'm Josue Pavon. Gelso is going to join us, so you know it's going to be fun. This should be a really good episode. But let's start the TPE. Either one of you guys disappointed about this? I'm not. Look, you can't.
Bro, you're going to introduce me, or are you just going to
for a
introduce
better
you
offer.
and Nick? You're going to introduce me.
I said Jimmy Toscano.
Welcome back, Jimmy. It's been a minute.
Did he say you're already cutting up? I can barely hear.
Come on, Josue. It's Brockton. 40 seconds in, we're in Brockton Wi-Fi segment.
Wi-Fi. We've had 2 months off, and Brockton
we may as well play the hits.
Has made his return, all ready to start TPE talk.
All right, well, let's get into TPE talk. Jimmy, why don't you start things off? All right.
Dude, what is there to say? They didn't spend it. They didn't use it. I think
people want to back up big.
I think everybody knew that deep down. I think everybody knew that they weren't going to use this TPE, right? They're already over the tax. The pickings were pretty slim. I imagine the teams that even had players that would fit into it wanted enough back in return that the Celtics said it's just not worth it for us. Like, whether it's draft picks or whatever. Why would they want to do it, Bobby? I mean, I'm not even that mad about it. I mean, I know we joke about how Wick is poor and, like,
we can't do that anymore.
I know. That's the thing. Well, if we really wanted to stick it to Wick, we could say, oh, he's cheap. He didn't want to go more into the tax, but they're already in it. They're already paying. They made their moves. I think everyone has to be happy with this offseason. So for us to sit here and criticize Wick and the Celtics for not doing anything with that TPE, listen, if they didn't sign Gallo, if they didn't trade for Brogdon, then we're ripping the Celtics front office. We're firing Wick. We're selling the team. We're doing all those things. But they made significant strides and efforts this offseason to better themselves in a way that they felt they could without mortgaging the future, without dipping too far into Wick's piggy bank. And you gotta tip your cap and you gotta say, listen, this is pretty much the team going into the season. If you're a Celtics fan, if you're in the Celtics organization, if you're us, you have to say the Celtics are sitting in a pretty good position. On paper, we'll see how everything looks, once they get on the court. But on paper, you have to be pretty happy with what you see right now.
Yeah, and they've done their spending. They're, facing a $45 million tax bill this year, which is unheard of in Celtics history, even back to the Big 3 days. That Malcolm Brogdon trade thrust them significantly into the tax, and then you throw the Gallinari one on top of that. They said they were going to spend, and they went out and did it. Now, Brad did prelude on draft night the fact that they might not use this thing, and it seems more asset motivated than financially motivated. He did say they would go even further into the tax if there was a move to be made here. So I'm not too upset about the fact that for the options that we were looking at, whether it be Mason Plumlee or Jakob Poeltl or Malik Beasley and some of these other guys that were on the list, those guys were first round picks if it was Danny Ainge demanding those on the Utah front, or players. Certainly, Brad has said all along that they don't want to take away from the roster that they have here. I just hate the fact that this goes back to the Gordon Hayward conversations we had when the show first got started. They let him go. They didn't get any assets back. They got the $30 million, and they've done a pretty good job. What they have left to show for that TPE is a mix of Derek White and some of the other moves like Richardson that they've made over the years. Like, they have filled that salary slot, but they let $17 million just disappear right here. And if you're a team that's over the cap, over the tax line like they are, certainly, you can't get that money back. And this is an opportunity to do that. They do have 2 other TPEs, a $6.9 million one that lasts till the deadline from Wancho, a $5.9 million one from Schroeder. Mm-hmm. So you can certainly still address some of the needs of this team down the line, but you can't combine those. So it's a much smaller pool of players. Yeah, I think so. I think you could have gotten something, right? Like, even if it was $5 million, or you could use a tiny piece of it. You didn't have to get a $17 million player like Duncan Robinson. You could have just kept some money on the books, and they certainly have 3 roster spots to fill right now. I'm surprised they didn't do anything with that. There definitely could have been something you could have added at that.
So why didn't they?
But who are some of the names that you have in mind, though? I mean, that's the thing. I feel like you look at this, and I don't want to say it's all set in stone, but you're in pretty good shape. So again, is it worth going that much? It may either get in the way of someone, receiving playing time, or be someone who's just not tax and pay $20 million or close to it.
Well, I think you have two needs right now, right? A backup big. Unless we'll talk about Luke Cornett tonight. We can do that.
Sure,
there's a lot of praise going around for Luke Cornett in that role. But I think you need another body there. And there were quite a number of them, whether you want to talk about Plumlee or Pirtle or, any number of names that were available there. And then some of the wings. Now, again, we don't know who's available. We don't know who's open for business at this point. I think most teams are kind of set, like their teams. I want to see what happens. But you had a deadline. So you had to make something happen there. They didn't. Again, I'm not stomping my feet pissed here, but it was a pretty sizable chunk of money you just let go there.
Sure, it was a chunk of money, but
like a lot of the names that may have been available, round pick would be enough for most of those teams, right? They want another guy involved. I feel like Brad Stevens was giving us a hint, saying I don't want to send off talent that we have ready for next year in exchange for somebody place, then I don't want it, Maybe something
we're talking about. We're talking about end of roster.
It was from San Antonio. They're rebuilding.
What's his contract?
Evidently, they're open for sale. I think it's about 10-ish million, 9-10 million. So about half of it, a little more than half. And I don't know, could you make that 28 pick you sent from the Derek White trade unprotected? Is that enough? Again, it's always hard to talk about this without the cost known.
Yeah,
they could be asking for 3 first, and then it's like, oh, all right.
Well, right. It's ridiculous. And then I feel like what the Celtics are looking for is like end of rotation, end of bench type players. So why drop, why do 10 million more? Why add 10 million more onto your cap? Why, unprotect a pick to begin with? But I want to get one other man's opinion. Nick Gelso, everybody in the building.
Everyone does.
He made it through the internet.
And whenever someone enters the studio and someone's mid-sentence and they say, look who's there.
Look who it is. Whoa.
Nick Gelso made it, everybody, through the internet connection issues, the dog barking issues.
You might hear a squeaky toy right now. He's playing with
the flex.
Yep.
Look at that view behind you. I'm not mad at
view,
it.
Yeah. In that
Boom.
view. Is that a picture?
It's our city, baby.
Is that a picture? Or is that a real?
Oh no, that's real. That's real. That's our Josue. How do you go? That's our fucking city.
All right, dude. Dropping an F-bomb.
You know what I'm saying, Josue, right?
Yeah, that's a little big poppy right there.
Big pop.
Nick,
you got to be back, fellas.
Yeah, it's good to see your face, Nick. Nice,
when's the last time
you got going on there?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I think Jimmy and I did one finals game. I filled in and held the wall up for Xanis till he got here. I think I was asleep. All hands were on deck during the finals, and yeah, man, it's good to be back. I'm glad. I was listening to you guys. It's funny stuff.
I
know you're missing. The Celtics didn't use that TPE. What's up with Brad? Come on.
Listen.
Jay Crowder. Could have gone Jay Crowder.
I would have loved Jay Crowder. I mean, that's the type of toughness you need, but maybe he didn't want to.
I don't know. It's tough to say. Again, if the cost was insane, you get why they didn't do it. But one first, just to keep that money alive. I mean, I talked about the fact that you could have even taken a contract that someone didn't want, like, say, Robinson, and just had that money on the books as a salary slot. None of us want to hear it from Wick on the tax, and certainly there's guys he would add that makes sense, and I think there's guys.
New contract, Bobby. Jeez Louise.
I know, but it's money. It's money. It disappeared. It's gone. It's like poof, and it's never going to be back. It's just tough to swallow because that is a lot.
But Brad had made definitive moves. He filled holes. All the Celtics need now really is a big, right? I mean, think about now where we are versus Game 6 of the finals where they were celebrating on our court, right? So now you got Brogdon, who Jimmy always wanted. You got
let's talk about some of those additions.
I mean, they're great additions, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, I eat crow on Brad for sure.
So Brogdon's the big one.
Bobby just went win.
This has been your guy. This has been your guy forever. How does it feel to
Brad
finally
Stevens had
see
the
him on
best
Boston?
offseason, so to speak. Like,
I think there was still a lot of Danny in there. There was a lot of Danny left last offseason, I think. Kemba was done before Brad started.
Come on. I mean, the
Derek White, maybe. Al.
Brad's already been. Nick. This isn't Danny. You gave Danny.
No, now it's not.
From last time.
Now it's not, Josue. But last offseason, I mean, up until Danny went and stopped being the consultant, you don't know. I mean, it's still Danny's team. Now it's Brad's team. And this offseason, he did more than Danny has in the last probably 3 combined without drafting Tatum or Brown.
Well, yeah. So when this move happened, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was going to say Brad's slowly but surely making his own mark on this team.
Question.
Right? I mean, he brought Al Horford back in. He signed Gallinari. He brought in Brogdon. Listen, one of the reasons why I always was high on Brogdon is because I knew how high Brad Stevens was on Brogdon just by covering the team over the last X amount of years. Every time Brad Stevens had an opportunity to compliment Malcolm Brogdon, he did. And I know that opposing coaches always compliment, players on the
They had a relationship.
I get that. Brad Stevens,
yes, they did.
Yeah, Brad Stevens held Brogdon in a much higher regard than your typical opposing team's, star player or good player. Malcolm Brogdon isn't a superstar player by any stretch. He's a player that has potential if he can stay in the court. I love that they made the trade. You're right. It is a player that I've been noting that I think they should go after for a couple of years now, and it just finally made sense. It was the right time where the Pacers were, right time for where the Celtics kind of were, a player that they were looking for of his caliber and what he can do for them. There was a match there. Now that being said, I still want to see it in action. I still want to see what his role is going to be. I want to see him string together games. I mean, that's been the big knock on him. I think if you talk to anybody in Philly, they're probably happy to see him go because he couldn't stay on the court. Sorry, why did I say Philly? Indiana. They couldn't stay on the court. So I want to see all that happen. That being said, I think this is a player that he can start for you if you want him to. I don't think he will start to begin the year. I think he will come off the bench, and I think that's a great role for him. I think he's somebody that can come in and he can, work great with the Jays. You can put him next to Marcus Smart, and you can move Smart to the 2 if you want. You can do a lot of different things. He's kind of like a bit of a chess piece, and it's kind of like the perfect player for a guy like Brad to bring in because Brad likes those interchangeable pieces, right? I always said that, Brad would start 5 tight ends if he was if it was football, because he just loves that positionless basketball. It's been his thing, right? So now you bring in another player who can play multiple positions. He plays 2 ways. He's their best free throw shooter. How many freaking times did we punch
this guy
walls?
Can really shoot.
How many times did we punch walls during the playoffs after missed free throw after missed free throw? I mean, it probably lost them some games. Unbelievable number of missed free throws in this team. And for that reason, I don't get hung up on starters. Malcolm Brogdon will be in the game at the end of games simply for the fact that he can hit shots, he can hit free throws, he can play 2 ways, and he's going to be valuable to them. Simple as that.
And I think, too, also, guys, he said all the right things. I mean, when you're talking about a presser, first of all, the Celtics. So
that's another thing you knew about him. You knew he's
very
a mature
important.
player.
He's a stand-up, mature guy, and I think also Gallinari. And as far as it goes with maturity, I think he sounded mature. And Brad set the tone, or Ime, I don't remember who said it, but I love that they came out immediately, took the pressure off of Marcus. I think that's huge. However, Marcus or Brogdon, whoever finishes the season, doesn't matter. I think in the initial part, you don't want to have that tension. And who's going to start?
That's the scariest part of this. It's the only.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And I didn't like the characterization. We talk about Woj and these guys and why they say the things they do. I'm still stuck on that. This is the true playmaking point guard that they needed. There goes Nick. He's gonna be in and out.
Somebody call animal cruelty.
Just because you take your camera off doesn't mean your mic's not off.
Yeah, Nick, we can hear you yelling at your dog, dude. You know what?
I guess he's back.
Come on, Nick.
Bobby, since noon, has wanted to kill me. So here you go. I'm back. I'm back. Listen,
we're
the
getting our
dog has
feet
to
back
pay
under
attention.
us. We've been in vacation
We
mode.
need to call animal control.
He was eating a box. I mean, like, what the hell with the box? Like, why would you want to eat a box? That's what he was eating.
Wait,
box.
You guys legitimately scared of a clash? I don't know.
I'm not scared of a clash, but I know how important this point guard role is to Smart. He said what he said to Max on the elevator. There were about 3 different interviews during the year of him saying, when they gave me the ball and let me run this thing. Yes, various different places he's saying, this is my role. You know, I'm the point guard. Give the point guard the ball. Let me run this thing. And to his credit, I'm looking back. I'm watching playoff games the last couple weeks. Think of some of the golden moments he had in that role. The pass to beat the Nets in game 1. I thought he was great in round 2. And just all the different ways he helped the team down the stretch of the season when they were winning 22 or 25. They're going to keep the same starting lineup. I'm with Jimmy. In fact, Ime told me that out in Vegas that, you know, this is on the starters from last year. So I assume he means they're going to keep that 5 together, and why not? There was the best starting lineup in basketball last year. So it's good to hear that Brogdon's accepting the bench role as well as Gallinari. I think that they've probably had these conversations and worked this out, but I just worry, you know how these fans are with Smart. You know how Brown was talking about the disrespect of the fans? I've never seen a Celtics fan disrespect Brown. Celtics fans disrespect Smart every other week.
Constantly.
If he's playing
every
bad,
game.
If he's playing bad and Brogdon's playing great, they're gonna flip on Smart in a second, and it's gonna be tough.
But Bobby, that's up to Marcus to be disciplined. That's up to Marcus to be disciplined, want to have that role, and whatever it is to win, but be disciplined not to.
You think he's capable? Yeah, he gave a good interview to The Athletic saying, "I love the move" and all of that. So he's saying,
I mean, I think he looks at it as pressure off his back because inevitably there's going to be an 8 to 10 game somewhere in the season where he's going to miss. Any player gets an injury, and Marcus is injury prone, and to have Brogdon there is a plus. You're talking more about ego and personality than you are about talent or, you know, resiliency not to get injured. And that's the issue, right? We don't know if Marcus, in the long run, if Ime is to go back to the bench, meaning put Marcus back on the bench to mix things up if things aren't going well, that's the wild card. That's where we don't know how Marcus is going to react if he has to go back to the bench.
I don't think he can do it.
I think he could. He's still Josue. Like, he has done it in the past where he's gone from starting to bench. And
when was that, though? That was a long time ago.
Long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Why are we even? I don't understand why we have. Of course, that's natural for any team to switch it up if things aren't going well. But why are we like automatically go well? Didn't Marcus at towards the finish line? Didn't he switch things up? Wasn't as a true point guard? So why would he die? You know, why would
because every season, Josue, every season, inevitably, there's a point where the fan base turns on Marcus and everybody starts questioning it. It is every year without.
It happened in the finals.
It happens every year, every season.
Someone like Brogdon will just apply pressure.
It seems that way.
Staying more focused, continue to strive.
What do you got, Jimmy?
I think you're all generalizing Celtics fans by saying every Celtics fan
the loud ones.
Yeah, but in the same on the opposite end of things, nobody praises Marcus Smart more than Celtics fans do too. Like on the overly praises him at points. So yeah, I think people get on him maybe a little too harshly at times when he does go cold from like the 3-point line and he does make a couple of silly passes.
Boneheaded turnovers.
But on the other end of things, like the winning plays of Marcus and all that stuff, that could be a little overblown too. I think generally speaking though, Marcus Smart is a gamer. He's very confident. And I think sometimes people confuse his confidence with I agree. He's got ego. You know, this ego. Yeah, there's a difference between being cocky and being confident. I think he's a confident player.
I agree with you.
Let me finish. I think he's a team player too. So I don't think he's gonna make this big stink about them bringing in a player just because he plays the same position.
I agree with you.
He can't play 48 minutes. He can't play 82 games, and neither can Brogdon. There's plenty of ball to go around for those two players. They're going to both play at the same time, in many cases. Given all that,
and I agree with Jimmy wholeheartedly, if Ime were to decide to switch up the starting lineup and put Marcus back to the bench, that's a wild card. I agree with you, Jimmy, but he's emotional. You don't know what he's going to say. You don't know. You really don't. I mean, I agree with Josue where you're saying, why are we even having this discussion?
Right.
Because every season it happens, though.
It does. I mean, it was never
does.
happening.
You guys did it the last 3 seasons. The bubble.
Listen,
Marcus uses it as motivation. It's a player of the year. I think he cares more about that and winning.
I think so, too.
Than being labeled as conference. I don't think he cares about that.
Right.
I agree, and I hope that that's the case. But this team is, time and time again, they get soft when the media criticizes them. This is not an unknown. We know that.
Sure.
So how have you overall liked it? I know you talked about the presser, Nick, and I was impressed by it too. I thought it was good comments all around. Gallinari, more than anyone, was very forthcoming about what he needs to do and just the role he's back.
Loving that Larry Bird talk.
Red hour,
but this I didn't love as much. Grant Williams talking on, I believe it was Duncan Robinson's podcast, about the finals, about the offseason, about a bunch of stuff. We caught up with Grant as well on
Grant
Vegas. Man, Grant saying that this one right here, I still would confidently say they weren't the better team.
They weren't.
The Warriors.
You think they were?
I don't get the point in saying that. They lost 3 straight games to lose the series. They got run off the court on their home floor in the final game. And really, it was one big turnaround in game 1 that was one of their only 2 wins there. So they got outplayed pretty handily in this series. And I don't know what it does to come out and say we were the better team.
But everybody on this panel had the Celtics, but me. I'm not saying I'm special. I wish I had the Celtics.
What the hell is that?
We were wrong.
No, it does. What I'm saying is you were
point?
wrong, but that doesn't make Golden State the better team. It makes them more experienced, more battle-tested. And they didn't choke. Like, we all got to look at it and say, the Celtics, it's a learning experience. They have 34. The Warriors did not choke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics did. The Celtics did. So
were they the better
but that doesn't
team?
make the Warriors the better team. They had 3 players, potentially 4, who played for Challenger.
They had a lot of guys stand out. Gary Payton, Josue's guy, Otto Porter.
Take the Celtics leading up to the finals. You all had Grant. I mean, everybody was top to bottom playing excellent, and they were the better team. I mean, I think the Celtics were the better team if they were clicking on all cylinders.
I love Grant to death. I'm one of his biggest fans.
I don't even know what you're saying.
The better team.
What did you say?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that if is what makes the Warriors the better team, right? Sure, the Celtics may have been playing series, but when they went face to face, the Warriors made them put them back in their place. Sort of as Grant gave them credit to, they outmastered them in the finals. They were disciplined. They knew. Oh wow, the Celtics think they're really high off of that game 1 win, games, right? So I don't know. I feel like that edge is what makes them the better team, but a lot more potential than the other. If that makes sense, right?
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I should have been saying the more talented.
But I'm not mad. He's a competitor. He wants to keep this trash. I mean,
I love Greg
like
saying
it's ridiculous.
Somebody's got to have a little toughness. I love it. I love Grant saying it, and I think challenge is the word I should have said.
It would be like Josue saying that they don't have better audio. It's like that would be the equivalent of what Grant's saying. It's like, bro, we've done this. We've seen enough. This is a 7-game series, Like if it's over a 7-game series and they beat you the way they beat you, they're the better team. Yeah, like in football, any given Sunday, sometimes crazy things happen. You might say, oh, we're a better team than them. We played like shit today and blah, blah, blah. But over a 7-game series, they kind of punked you in the end. They took 3 straight. If you want to say, oh, we regret the, we let them off the hook, or we feel like we, left something out there that, we could have beat them. Sure, I understand like that, but Grant, you gotta lick your wounds, take the L, and move forward, man. You weren't the better team. You got punked. Draymond Green punked you personally, actually, by the way, and Steph Curry had his way with the entire team. So I don't know what wording you want to use to
I was
fall
wrong.
asleep at night. But the bottom line is the Warriors did what the Warriors do. And yeah, I had the Celtics in 7. It wasn't like I was like, oh, the Celtics are going to dominate. I knew it was going to be close, but I thought the Celtics, if they played better, would have made a series out of it. And yeah, I could have seen the Celtics winning. I mean, they won the first game and everyone was super high on them.
Because they were the more talented team.
Just because they won one. I don't think you can say that. I think the Warriors had the best player on the court in Steph Curry.
Well, they did, but the Celtics, top to bottom, were the better team.
Who cares?
I mean,
what does that mean? Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
Well, I'm just saying that
the bench didn't even show up in the series after Game 1.
But talent-wise, they were the better team.
On what, paper? They don't play on paper, Nick. They don't play on paper.
I'm just saying, if you want to say talent, I mean, listen, but when you're looking at it, talent was not the differential. It was experience, battle-tested, being able to not choke.
Looked pretty damn talented, too, at points, though. I mean, let's be honest. So, whatever. Grant said what he said. Grant's always going to just say what he wants to say. That's part of
And somebody should.
And yeah, that's cool. I'm cool with it. But I don't think he's right. That's all. I mean, Bobby,
but give him props for having a little set of balls and saying something, you know.
You guys think
Bobby, you there? You frozen? I think Bobby's frozen. Man, we're having some issues today.
Yeah, it's a summer.
I'm gonna go ahead and move Bobby off.
A better player than Draymond Green.
No. Grant Williams? No. Huh?
I like the attitude. I like the trash talk.
I love it, Josue. That's what I'm saying. I love it. Someone's got to do it.
It's not really trash talk, though. It's almost like he's kind of clowning himself, to be honest.
It's sour grapes.
Really, I mean,
a little bit.
I could bring up things from the past where it's happened, and it's ballsy. I mean, I like it, especially on a team devoid of, balls. They do.
Sure.
So if Grant Williams, the guy who does the Carlson, right, or whatever he does on GIF, if he's got to be the toughest guy, fine. If he's wrong, which I can confidently say
Grant Williams was invisible, and if Grant Williams is saying that, if Grant Williams is the guy talking, Grant Williams needs to step up then. And if he wants to say that they're the more talented team, then go be talented. Go show that you're the more talented team. Don't disappear for the entire series and get punked by Draymond Green and then go on a podcast and say, oh, we were the better team. I'm confident in saying that. How can you be confident in saying that? You disappeared along with Derek White, Al Horford at points. Pretty much everybody on the Celtics disappeared.
Tatum?
Yeah, Tatum had one of the most disappointing series of all. I mean, Jaylen Brown was your best player almost by default because really nobody else did anything for you.
So if the two teams, exact same rosters, matched up this postseason,
I have no freaking clue. I guess we'll find out, if it gets to that point.
I mean, no, but that's the point. Listen, he's basically being a trash talker. Let him talk trash because no one else does.
That's fine.
Except Cedric Maxwell once in a while. I mean, I that's part of the gamesmanship. It's fun.
It's fun, but I also think he's just wrong. I mean, that's all. I mean, if you want to talk trash, be good at it. And then I
can't believe we're talking about Grant Williams and a quote he had about.
Well, this is the off season, man. We're gonna go around here. Bobby, you're on. Can you see us?
Yeah, I'm back. You got me?
Yeah, we got
one
you.
Of those.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jimmy.
It's one of those podcasts where those,
I'm with you,
those
Jimmy.
quotes really stood out to people.
Yeah. What you got, Bobby?
I can't fathom saying this. And then some of the other stuff he sprinkled in there, like saying to Draymond that he's the better player. I think it was pretty evident.
So read
which
that
of
quote.
These two players played better in the finals.
Read that quote too, if you have it. Otherwise, I'll look for it.
I don't have it right in front of me, but
all right. So
I got the gist of it is that
I have it right here. I'll read it. So on finals trash talk, this is, by the way, this is from Adam Taylor NBA. So if you guys want to get the whole string of them, at Adam Taylor NBA, he writes for Celtics blog among some other
Celtics blog.
On finals trash talk, somebody told me a story about how Draymond got into an altercation when he was younger and got knocked out. I was literally doing research. That was the first time I've had Draymond not say something back to me. I was like, yeah, I got that one.
He was doing research.
Okay, yeah, dude. How would you do some research on like his low post skills or his freaking rebounding? More trash talk. Draymond said, you want to be like me. And I was like, how can I want to be like you when I'm better than you already? I'm sorry.
Not bad.
I'm sorry. First of all, that's like
kind of shocked
not
by
really
that.
trash talk. That's kind of like kindergarten
Stupid.
level trash talk. Like I know you are, but
Grant,
what am I?
Though, that's a grand line though for sure.
But also like you're not better than him already, and you might most likely definitely never will be, man.
No. Jimmy, when you go off in a game 7, when you do your best Kelly Olynyk impression, you start saying stuff like this. Say it anyways, like that.
Again,
that's what Grant was doing.
I appreciate.
Now he said about that game, he hit 7 threes, but he should have hit 9, 10. That's what he said about that game. Looking back,
why are we criticizing a guy for having? I know at the end of the season,
he actually watched that Kelly Olynyk game 7 thriller or game 7 against the Wizards. He watched that right before the game. So
yeah, right. He definitely did.
He did?
No, he did. He said it on the podcast.
Oh, he actually said that.
Jimmy, me and Jimmy are like.
No, I like that.
I guess I got to listen to it fully. Bobby, give me something on this. Give me something on Grant's trash talk, please. Give me something here.
So, I remember talking to Grant after the series shortly there. I believe it was in the exit interview, and I said, what do you got to do to be able to win a series like this when we're looking back on it just after it? And he said, I got to be playable. I can't be a guy that you can take off the floor into the future. Because, again, I think you said it earlier in the segment, Jimmy, White, Grant, and Pritchard. Those are the 3 guys you couldn't play effectively in this series after Pritchard, game 1. I believe Grant had 9 shots made total in the entire series out of 6 games. So he was pretty terrible in this series. And again, you like confidence, you like some bluster. I love Grant's leadership. I mean, he was always able to speak up and
no qualms
say
about
his piece
that
this year. But this, I don't get what this did. It's just another tit for tat now that it's been a month. I mean, Green had the shirt filled out, with all the banners, and he had the final one filled out. He was saying shut up and this and that. Green got to have his word because they won. They dominated the series. I don't know how you can say Celtics were the better team. They didn't lose on a buzzer beater in Game 7. They got run off the floor in Game 6 in the Garden.
They were close to winning.
Great playoff run, but
they were close to being up 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors.
2010 Celtics team. That was
loser mentality.
It's not, Jimmy. How dare you say I have a loser mentality? You know better.
Well,
don't say that. I'm one of the tougher guys going, but I mean, you've got to be realistic. I am, dude. No one's been more of a fucking pissed off than me. Like, what are you talking about?
Like we're talking trash.
Boomer rage.
Dude, all I'm saying is don't give them credit for almost being up 3-1 when they got
Jimmy
worked out of the gym.
Take the comment in its entirety. They were we're gonna trash them because they lost in 6 games. They were almost up 3-1.
We're not gonna trash them.
Well, you are not you, but
we're
they
just
are.
Saying they weren't the better
Jimmy
team.
Is.
We're not trashing them. We're just laughing at the comments. And if you're a Warriors player and you hear any of those comments, you must just chuckle, right? I mean, it's all you can do.
Everything Draymond says is a chuckle.
Yeah, but if you're the Celtics, you have to take.
Now, I will say this:
you don't need to go on. You don't need to go on a media
summer
tour.
league.
When are we going to say where was Ime in the finals? When are we going to say that? Because offensively, it was horrendous. All right,
we're
here
done
we go.
with the finals talk. We're talking about these comments.
You want to talk about Grant Williams?
I was going to say the Celtics summer league team, they were better than the Warriors summer league team. They ran them off the court. But
there we go.
Finals, not so much.
All right, what else we got? We've exhausted the group. Nick's gonna beat us up. He's so tough. He's gonna beat us up if we keep talking about Grant.
Let's shout out AG.
What else?
I just like one of our players to have a set of balls and say anything. Really.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, listen. It's all fun.
We criticize them all for being soft all the time, Jimmy.
I'd rather Grant criticize his own team than criticize the Warriors because the Celtics deserve to be criticized. If you want to show real leadership, look within. Don't say that you're the better team.
He did.
He did.
Okay,
then
I'm good. Then I'm good with it.
The other half to the comment was Grant talking about the discipline difference between the two teams. He said that the Warriors were a lot more composed, disciplined, all the different intangible things you need to win a series. I just look at that and say that's part of being a better team, especially when you've won what is it now? 4 championships if you're Golden State. So that's part of the assessment of the two teams. And again, the margin was sizable here. The Celtics did have that lead. They did squander a few opportunities. And even Ime, I think, would look back on it. I'm sure Ime didn't love these comments. He would look back on it and say, we just weren't good enough. So
right.
They weren't.
You know, the result's the result. We do this every year now. And, you know, everybody's going to have their piece on the losing side, the asterisks, the Mickey Mouse championship with the Lakers.
It was a Mickey Mouse championship.
If you win the championship,
no, it wasn't.
If you win the championship, you're the champ.
You're a Mickey Mouse champion.
Deservedly so.
You're Mickey Mouse.
You're goofy.
This is Grant Trash Talk right here.
Yeah, this is what
Grant
did to us.
OG Trash Talk.
All right, what's up next?
You just better back this up, Bobby.
All right.
This coming from Bobby, Eastern Conference Finals, Bobby. We got to the conference finals. Like, listen, I think the future is really good.
Now that is a legitimate accomplishment. I'm just saying, you weren't the better team. I'm just saying. I'm just taking the comment at face value.
I think that's a fair.
We do have a sponsor though.
Let's go.
We got a sponsor, Josue, right?
We got a new sponsor.
Good friends now for a week.
New sponsor alert! Everybody
Jimmy,
listen
if you can
up.
help me out.
Everybody
I was
listen
trying to
up
say earlier, you guys
sponsor.
keep talking to mugs. Let me talk about AG, Athletic Greens. Guys, if you haven't used it, seriously, like what I love the most about Athletic Greens, as I've been using it the last couple weeks, is I wanted to improve my energy on the daily and not have to take a bunch of vitamins that I would forget to take. And that's exactly why the ideal option for me, at least right now, right? I mean,
Nick's drinking it right now.
I am legit.
It's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat, whatever kind of diet you're on, it contains less than 1 now. If you head over to athleticgreens.com/garden, you get a 1-year supply of immune support. Also, you get 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So all you have to do is go to Athletic. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/garden. Guys, check it out. Again, it's just a good health. Energy boost. I'm already feeling the difference, man. It's only been like about a week.
A
couple of weeks. Doing it right now. So yeah, guys, check that out. athleticgreens.com/garden.
In case you guys didn't hear what the deal was, because I might have got cut off. It's a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D.
Free 1-year supply, 5 free
travel packs with your first purchase. Honestly, I got one shipped to me. I got a whole box shipped to me. Comes in an awesome package. The travel pouches are great. Stick them in your gym bag. You know, if you work it out in the morning, they say, just drink it first thing in the morning, right before breakfast. It's going to give you honestly, we'd be here for 20 minutes talking about all the vitamins and nutrients that it includes. It's honestly time to take back your health. If COVID got you going in the wrong direction, it's time to reverse that shit. Give Athletic Greens a try. athleticgreens.com/garden. 1-year supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs. I know that at least the package I got came with a cool shaker, came with a big pouch of the powder. Mix it in with a little water if that's the way you want to do it. You could probably do it with milk too. And just it's a good way to start your day.
Some water.
That's it.
We're sending it out.
Yeah,
we're sending out
really cool.
More Celtic Cedric Maxwell t-shirts. John is so DM your receipt for athleticgreens.com/garden to @John_Zanis.
Yes.
And a month we're sending them out.
Honestly, guys, we're all about that. We're all about the health here. So whether it's Athletic Greens or whether it's another sponsor, if you guys can see the trend here, we are, trying to better ourselves, trying to better our friends and fans or Celtics fans, I should say, who are watching these shows. And this is a great product, and it's a popular product. If you just Google it yourself, do your own research.
People love it.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah, very popular. Everyone heard they're going to be sponsors of ours, and they're like, "Oh, how can I get some? My mom's been using it. My uncle's been using it. It's really popular. It tastes pretty good too. You look at it and you're like, I don't know about these nutrients, but tastes great. Easy. Throw it in the water, start the day, and you're done. That's like step 1 toward a better
That's it. Start off on the right note. A little get the mind right too at the same time, and go from there. All right, so that's Athletic Greens. You guys will be hearing about them.
Athleticgreens.com/garden. Guys, you guys, I think you mentioned Danny Ainge and what he's doing in Utah. Is Donovan Mitchell the last piece of this thing? Is he going to hold on to him? If he's not going to hold on to him, what are some of the options do you think he has that Utah has right now in terms of trading Donovan Mitchell? Bobby, let's start with you.
We
all agree. We all agree no Celtics, right?
Oh, I would love to have him. I would love to have him.
You would? All right, so who are you giving up?
I don't want to get into it. People are going to call me a hater. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. People are going to call me a hater.
You're going to be where I was a week ago.
I just love Donovan Mitchell. It's not even about not liking – it's not even about, like, wanting to trade somebody in the Celtics for him. It's just I love Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a gamer. I think he's a little bit underrated or, like, unheralded a little bit because he's in Utah. I think if he ends up on the Knicks, like, that's the rumor. Like, this dude's going to be the greatest thing to happen to the Knicks since, like, freaking Allen Houston was draining threes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just love Donovan Mitchell. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think, like I said, the Celtics are the Celtics. They're going into the season. They're happy with who they have. We might get into some talk about some of the Celtics players a little bit later. I don't want any spoilers. But, yeah, obviously, if you were a player for Donovan Mitchell, the conversation would have to start at Jaylen Brown. Obviously, it's not a slight at Jaylen Brown. We're talking about a Donovan Mitchell all-star, perennial all-star for many years to come. So it's just a matter of, you know, what you'd be willing to give for him. I just think he's an unbelievable player. Now, Danny Ainge has a tall task at hand. I mean, he already got a boatload for Rudy Gobert. Now they're asking him to get rid of Mitchell too. So they're in a full rebuild over there. Clearly, yeah, that's Danny's thing, I guess. I mean, and if the Celtics were interested, of course, there's, you know, a relationship there, a very good relationship there to have talks. Now, the fact that nothing has even come up about that tells me that the Celtics aren't interested. So that's probably it.
There'll be no Mikhail Garnett trade with Danny.
No,
especially after walking out, and he's gonna, as someone said recently, try to take the Celtics to the cleaner here, and he just first in that deal for the Rudy Gobert trade. So the price is high here. If you're Boston, I think you're talking all your picks, which at this point is, I want to say 5, because you gave up this year's and 28s. So you don't have a ton. The Knicks quietly have 11 future firsts after their draft navigation here. So that feels inevitable. It's just, you know, where's the line going to be drawn, and how can they get this done? The Jazz are going full-scale rebuild here with this move. They don't even want RJ Barrett back from the sound of it from New York. So you even have to give up a Brown. It's hard to stack the salary otherwise. You just signed a bunch of guys, traded for a bunch of guys. So you don't exactly have the flexibility to do this right now. I just wonder how long this is going to linger. I do love Donovan's game. Some of these playoff performances he's had over the years have been desk. But I do wonder what he's going to look like outside of that system. Rudy gets so much crap. He was the bedrock of everything they were doing there, defensively especially. He took a lot of heat off Donovan, who at times has been a suspect defender. I saw him back at Louisville. Great defender in college. Didn't really translate to the NBA, and it feels like he's only gotten worse as time's gone on here. So it feels like he's going to go to the Knicks. I don't know. Does that make you scared of the Knicks? Jalen Brunson?
No, never.
Mitchell? Barrett? It would be fun to have them entertaining again, at least, but I don't think you're scared of them either. So, I don't know. Go ahead and do it. I had a lot of fun at MSG this year with that environment, and I'll definitely get the New Yorkers fired up, bringing him in. And like you said, Jimmy, this would be the most time.
What is that environment like as compared to the Garden here?
Oh, it's insane.
I don't understand how. I've never been to MSG.
Just the screeches after every basket. That was the game, of course, where they had the game winner. So I think that played into it. They just kept marching back from down 20, and you get the bing bong flying, and you know, everybody's just pumped up. They're screaming at the refs. It's packed front to back. You got to give New York, the fans, their credit, because they have had some dreadful teams in recent years, but they still show out. That place still gets loud. It's really unlike any environment I've been to. Even Golden State in the finals wasn't quite like that. Yeah. Milwaukee was a strong one. Milwaukee was a really strong one, but New York this year, best I've seen by far. Boston too, of course.
Josue, what do you got on Mitchell?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in New York, I think you you do everything you can to make. I think this is one of those make up moves for the ideal star point guard that have pan out in that city. It just hasn't worked out for one reason or another. So, yeah, if I'm New York, I'm doing this absolutely. This past season was a humongous step back, right? I mean, 2 years ago, it seemed like the Knicks were going to be regularly, or at least on back-to-back seasons, and they didn't even make the playoffs this year. So I just think you do the best you can to make this happen and keep this team or keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, I mean,
the Knicks, though, they're always taking shortcuts, right? They're always trying to do something like this. People must be pissed around the league the way they've forecasted these deals, showing up to the Jazz Mavericks game, sitting courtside, the whole collective there, Worldwide West, and the whole agency that they have run the team now. There's going to be some angry people in the league if this gets done, on top of the stealing Brunson from Dallas, which was pretty well highlighted deep in the season last year, that they were going to try to make that move. I don't know if there was tampering, but they were well connected. And again, it looks like this move's kind of in the bag, the right amount of assets.
So I'll say this:
you guys hear about the report surrounding Kemba Walker and the
Kemba too,
and
right now it looks like they're going to waive him.
The loss.
Oh, is he saying Lakers?
Oh, we got
the Lakers.
We got Brockton Wi-Fi hitting again.
I can't hear you, Josue.
You guys can't hear me say
back out, come back.
The Lakers.
You're getting cut off. You're getting cut off.
That would be something, right, Nick? The old. Can we talk Lakers, man? Because I get such a kick out of this. Like,
before we get to the Lakers,
go ahead, Jimmy.
I'm all for it, Bobby. When you are.
Let's button up the Mitchell combo. I just want to say, if you're the Knicks, I think you got to do what you can to get this player. Again, superstar player, perennial all-star, will make New York City buzz, every time he's out there. There's no place better than, Celtics fans don't want to hear it, but MSG is the place to play. Any player will tell you that. Any player will tell you that, basketball or hockey. There's nothing like playing under the lights at Madison Square Garden. When the Knicks are good, when New York teams are good, it's good for the sport. Knicks, Yankees, Rangers. I mean,
Yankees are good this year too.
I'm not going to say the Jets because that's a lost cause. The Jets will never be good, and if they were, yeah, that'd be fun.
The Giants are right down there.
The Jets stink. They always will be. The Giants, they sometimes have a glimmer of hope, but they stink too. But yeah, if the Knicks can turn it around and be a fun team and be a tough team, that's great for the Eastern Conference. That's great for the Celtics. Maybe get a little Celtics-Knicks rivalry brewing.
Well, that's the thing. The East is tough. You were just about to get DeAndre Ayton out here too. Tough. It was this close, but
that was close.
I don't know. We'll see if it gets done. We'll see if it gets done. The East just keeps getting better and better, though. That's really the only takeaway you have from this deal. I don't think anyone's really itching to get in on Mitchell either. I actually think quietly Brown. I'd rather have Brown than Mitchell. I would
too.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have James Worthy than Brown. The chat room is exploding trying to compare Worthy and Brown. There's just no comparison. They're not the same player.
I'm seeing a lot of the smart talk.
A lot of smart dissing.
Yep. I guess they don't like
Bobby. Oh, these fans, they love Brogdon.
They don't today, Josue. Today they don't.
Crazy. I mean, Brogdon.
Look what you started with this.
I like Brogdon a lot.
This Brogdon smart beef. I'm not here for it. I don't want this mouth. Enough.
Let's get some comments on the screen. Jonathan.
If it was smart for Brogdon,
this isn't true. I was born
way
when
better.
The Knicks were good, but I wasn't that old. 90s Knicks were fun. I'm not getting into Worthy versus Jalen.
Why not? It's the off season.
Because Nick, you're the one egging that conversation on in the chat. That's the only reason why.
Isn't this the time you do it?
Oh, I knew it. I was
going
to say, where'd that come from?
I'm have to comment. I commented 3 times.
Because
James Worthy and Jaylen Brown are non-comparable. They're not the same player at all.
Okay.
Nick, compelling reasons. Way better.
Argue that.
Number 1, because he was a Finals MVP. Number 2, because the Lakers don't win 2 championships at the end of the decade, if not for Worthy. Don't take me here. Let's take it offline. DM me at CLNS_Nick.
Yes,
I don't want to flip Jimmy out, even though it's the off season.
It is the off season, but we don't want to. That doesn't mean we want to put people to sleep.
That everybody in the chat room's talking about, bro.
Really?
Drexler now. Now it's Clyde Drexler. Do you really want to compare Jaylen Brown with Clyde Drexler?
Clyde Drexler is an unbelievable player.
Michael
Jordan
choked and choked.
Yeah,
he never won anything.
Michael Jordan issue. Yeah.
Michael Jordan issues and Magic Johnson issues.
And Magic Johnson, sure. All right, what else?
All right, sorry, I'm hijacked. Now they're going James Worthy and Jeff Green. I can't. I got to turn it
They're
off.
egging you on, dude. Just stop looking at the chat.
Well, I guess the last on the list here for me is the recent picture that was surfing on Instagram last week. Kyrie Irving and Kanye West together. Max and Jalen. We spent a whole lot
Kyrie
of
doing?
time on it. Look, we know the sports agency. We know the umbrella. We get it. But how do you guys feel just about that? See those three together. I know some of this fans are gonna see what side of the fence you guys are on.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Jimmy, go ahead.
The only thing I got on it is this is something to watch. The whole announcement when it came out, the agent moved to Kanye and that representation. Jalen didn't touch on it a ton. Said he's excited to work with a guy he looks up to. And again, I think a lot of these young guys look up to Kanye. We've been over that. Like a very inspiring figure for a lot of people, our age coming up and his journey and all that. And again, a pretty good marketer, pretty good guy to get your name out there and all that kind of stuff. I think it makes sense off the court in a variety of different ways. Now, as far as this notion, and he liked the tweet, said in the statement, or Kanye said in the statement, I believe, that Jaylen Brown's one of the most underrated players in basketball.
Did you say something about not respected too or something, or did you not say that? Did I make that up?
Celtics fans.
No,
Celtics fans always there was a tweet that he liked that was something to the effect
he liked the
Celtics
tweet.
fans.
That's how this whole thing started. Like no one said that. Like the tweet saying that I'm tired of Celtics fans disrespecting Jalen or whatever.
Yeah. But Kanye had a quote. Kanye had a quote in like the announcement of signing Jaylen Brown. Again, I'm not even entirely sure what he said. Like, I don't know if this information was out there and I just missed it, but like Jaylen Brown signs with Donda Sports. Does that mean that like he signed with him for, like his sports agent is with Donda Sports, or is there some sort of signing there where like now he's, maybe representing Donda Sports in some capacity? Maybe it's
I believe it's like off the court ventures and
right,
kind of marketing.
Okay. So Bobby, I think where you were going with it is that it's something to have your antennas up about, right?
Yep.
And I completely agree.
And we've talked about it since the winter. Yeah. Wasn't there a bullpen report that regardless of what the Celtics do, regardless of how they finish, he can look at free agency. And he will. I
thought the report was if things start to go south, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Yeah. I think that Jaylen Brown is much more about like he's much more than just basketball, right? So if he can do something, if he can do something that's going to benefit him or his family or whatever outside of basketball, like for his post basketball career, because we know he's into fashion, right? He has his clothing line. And all that stuff. And we know he's into a lot of other things.
He's in the union. Yep.
And that's great. And he might think, it might be a better business decision for me to go elsewhere for this reason, that reason, and the other reason. Kanye West doesn't give a shit about Boston, right? Kyrie Irving doesn't give a shit about Boston. And those, like, their loyalty isn't anywhere near Boston. So if Jaylen Brown is surrounding himself with people who don't have that loyalty to Boston, there's a reason to, like I said, just have your antennas up and know that Jaylen Brown's going to do what's best for Jaylen Brown. And that's fine. Good for him. A lot of players are going that way now. Like the loyalty to a team, like it was, if Nick was still here, he would tell us all about loyalty in the 70s and the 80s and 90s and how teams stick with one player. It just doesn't happen anymore. And on the other side of things, teams will be quick to trade a player if it benefits them. We've seen Danny Ainge do it with the Celtics, right? I mean, Isaiah Thomas is still hard.
To Boston's credit, though, they've been they've been very protective of Brown over the years. I don't think they've floated him at all. Like, his name's been out there in conversations, but it never really felt like the Celtics were actually exploring moving him. They protected Tatum and Brown very well, more than most teams
your
would.
tongue this whole time?
I was backstage. I put myself backstage because nothing I'm going to say is going to be good.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I'm not going to say it's bad. I just think it's a bad look. And I heard Jimmy say team loyalty. The Celtics.
You muted yourself?
So loyal.
It's a bad look in what way?
Hanging out with Kyrie?
Yeah.
It's a bad look, dude. I mean, come on. I know for a fact they had issues when he was here.
Because they're both represented by the same guy.
Who cares? When did agents start running the league? And Jimmy, as far as you're concerned with player movement, that's starting to change now in regards to players wanting to know it's fashionable to be Golden State and homegrown. All of a sudden, it flipped, and it's slowly changing, and it will again. It will. I mean, once LeBron retires and KD's gone and Kyrie, it will change. It will change. And Steph shows it, and he's had a lot of success for loyalty to Golden State, which is a great organization with a great culture. I mean,
I'm with you, Jimmy. I think it's something to keep an eye on. Look, I just think it's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, it's interesting, but the other part of it is that's what I care about the most. And I think how he bounces back is obviously going to make an immediate impact onto that, and whether that means him getting more touches, down the end of the end of the stretch. If he can be someone that this team can, be confident in, I would love that to be Tatum and Brown. There's a clear hierarchy here, and I think it's Tatum above Brown. I'm not saying, I don't mean that in the sense of Brown. Brown's going to do what he wants to do, and he has every right to do that, as long as he's performing well in the basketball court player, which I do think he will, especially with playing alongside someone like Malcolm Brogdon. I think that's a huge addition for what he's going to do on the court, but what he's going to be in the locker room, the kind of leader he's going to be, and the fact that these two share opinions on politics or things that are beyond basketball, right? I shouldn't say politics, but it's not. So that's good. I don't. It's weird, I'm sure, for Celtics fans to see him hanging out with Kyrie, but I haven't really said anything out of.
It's kind of weird altogether.
Giving him props. He called him a few months ago before they played against each other in the playoffs, so it shouldn't be a surprise. But I don't think people should look at that out the door here. No, he's gonna be him. He's not
out the door, but
brand. He's gonna continue to build his brand. He's gonna continue to build who he is as a player and market himself. I'm okay with that as long as
Of course, he can hang out with whoever he wants to. Everybody always hung out with whoever they wanted to. It's not the point. It's the photo ops. Why are they putting shit on Instagram? Like, it's inflaming the fans.
Brand, and this is it's the brand he's trying to build, and I wonder just how important that is to him. I wonder how important that is to him, and is he going to be able to build the kind of brand, the kind of legacy he wants?
Not if he doesn't smile.
That might be as big on the court, as big as his on the court prerogatives, and he's been a great player on the court. He's a phenomenal leader on this team. I think he took leaps and strides in that area this year, but we haven't even had the opportunity to really ask him the question, like, do you want to be here in Boston long term? Like, is that your priority? And it's a far way off, but it's not. This season goes by, and it's 1 year left after this year. So,
but Bobby, to Josue's point,
it's something you have to pay attention to.
If they win a championship, everything changes.
Guys leave their teams all the time now. Guys who've won championships leave their teams. It's about their lives and their brand and what they want to accomplish on and off the court and where they feel at their best position.
He's hanging with a guy who's
I just sense this theme that's growing. That I just sense this theme that's building with Jalen, that he feels underrated, undervalued, whichever one of those words you want to use. And
now
you got to address that somehow. And to be fair, I think Ime's done a good job on the court of emphasizing him.
Josue's been saying this for 2 years.
Saying what?
Well, just that Jalen is, it's weird a little bit. His Instagram stuff. Josue, you said a couple times about Jalen and are these two guys going to be here long term? Could they play together? And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day is Jalen and Jason. If they're winning championships, I think they'll stay together. If they're not, it was probably always Jalen that was going to go. He's more.
Is that Jalen's priority?
I think winning championships. I think if when you win, it becomes your priority to defend, and if not, then be quiet. You could go. You know what I mean?
I think these guys want to win. I do think they want to win.
I think they do.
It's up there, yeah. It's definitely up there. But there's a lot of things that are up there, I think.
But sure, but
I don't think Jalen has a wandering eye right now, thinking it's not there for me. How could he? He was 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. If anything, he's looking in the mirror, saying, "Man, whatever." And look, if people want to say, "Oh, well, he played better than Tatum in the NBA Finals," well, all right, that's a fact. That was stride and go into the next season and respond. That's what I'm waiting for.
And there is still some privacy in celebrity. There is still some privacy in celebrity. That was a photo op, and it was really uncalled for.
I don't have an issue with them going on a photo op and
they're in the same agency. Yeah, that's what that was all about.
That's just the year 2022. Yeah. So I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with him doing the photo op or any of that stuff. Like, go hang out, do whatever you want. I'm only saying if you're a Celtics fan and you see Jalen, surrounding himself with guys like Kyrie and Kanye, players and people who have no loyalty to Boston whatsoever, they're in his ear about, hey, yeah, you can win in Boston, but you could also win in LA, or you can also win in
Jalen believes he can win wherever he goes.
Exactly.
He can continue to grow and become one of the better players in the league. And
hey, Jalen, by the way, yeah, you can win in LA, and guess what? We can also set you up with this unbelievable clothing, this storefront property, and I have all these connections to, these fashion designers and by the way, exactly. So my point is, I would only be concerned about it because if Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying he doesn't want to win. I know that he does, but if he's also thinking ahead to other ventures, like a lot of these athletes have outside of basketball, right? Preparing for their future, then he might think outside of his next contract with Boston. He might say, well, let me weigh the pros and cons of everything, not just the team that we've assembled around me. That's all.
Well, I'm not saying what's helpful.
Saying it's something to be taken out. And I guarantee you, if John was on the show, he would be concerned. I mean, we can all agree with that. Like, it doesn't take much, but he would definitely say,
our intent. This is all we're saying. Just put
a little weird.
What you mean? Put your antennas up a little bit.
What did you say?
He would go. It's a little weird. A little weird.
Yeah. He would say, start to prepare.
Well, here's two pluses. If I'm going to look at 2 positive signs, is that Brown has invested heavily in the Boston area, whether his education program here, his, work with the colleges, and he's, he had the store here as well. So he has tried to make the inroads in the city pretty successfully. I think the fans have supported his ventures as well. So there is a relationship between Brown and Boston that works, along with the fact that Brogdon is another player who's pretty active off the court, and those two have a relationship going back through the union, through their time in Atlanta. So, they're setting up, I think, to support him well and do the different things he wants to try to accomplish here too. But again, let's talk about, what does he want? What does he want to accomplish here? What are ways fans can help? What are ways the team can help support what he wants to accomplish off the court? Because, again, those things are important to him. Might be as important as his on-court play.
He's talking about respect online, right? That was a topic 2 weeks ago.
He's hanging out with Kanye, Bobby. I mean, at some point, the messages are going to get a little crossed.
Oh, yeah. Kyrie as well.
Right. He's talking about respect.
2
weeks ago. And the next time he makes an appearance, he does a photo op with the guy who crippled your team for 2 years, stepped on your logo, and called you basically a wimp.
I don't think those guys don't like Kyrie, though, Nick. We've realized that.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters. What I'm trying to say is you're talking about respect on Twitter because talking heads or whoever, fans, are doing what they do. Then fans are not supposed to be inflamed by the fact that he's appearing in a photo op with a guy who intentionally tried to bury your franchise? Oh, he didn't, Jimmy. No, I mean,
I don't think Kyrie intentionally.
Well, as a member,
he wasn't burning sage. I mean, come on, he stepped on the logo, burning sage.
Are you talking about
Tatum's friends with Kyrie too?
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what timeline you're on.
That's true.
Tatum's probably even closer with Kyrie.
I don't think that matters.
Nick's trying to say that it's a bad look. It's a bad look if you're a guy like Jaylen Brown and you want to be a Boston Celtic. Nick can't understand why he would then pose for pictures with somebody who was so anti-Celtics. Is that
okay?
Fair?
Yeah, right. Let me just describe it, Jimmy. Me and you, right? We're friends, but
I guess
the audience doesn't like you. Let me not try to.
Now
make
I don't
analogies.
understand.
I mean, I could. I know that. But listen, everybody's going, it's not 1972, Nick. When did respect become 1972? The man put on his Twitter handle, respect.
He respects Kyrie.
Why is there no accountability for the players? I just don't. So he respects Kyrie so he can disrespect the fans. No one's telling him he can't be besties with Kyrie. Go hang with them. Do whatever you want. But why do a photo op and don't tell me about the agency? I don't think that.
Why are you so hung up on the photo?
Same agency. That's why it was a photo.
He can post pictures. I mean, I don't really care about that. All
Nick,
I'm
you
saying
wouldn't want to post us all together to represent the company. Like man,
I think what I'm trying to do is put it down to a human level and take it off of basketball. If we're friends, and somebody else and I scream respect, and then hanging out with you or somebody else publicly disrespects the person I'm saying I deserve respect to me, that's disrespectful. I mean, for him to go and hang out with the guy who punked you in your city, not just hang out with them, go hang out with them, go to house parties, go chill, do whatever you got to do. But a photo op inflames your fans who you're going on Twitter saying you deserve more respect from. It just doesn't make sense.
I understand where you're going, but I still think he has a right to do it. My only thing is
let fans have a right, and we have a right to do our job, Jimmy, which is have an opinion.
Fans care about
you have your opinion. I'm not saying
I think it's just a given.
I'm just not surprised to see it. All I'm saying is have your antennas up. That's all. Because not because he took the picture.
Yeah, that's what matters here to fans.
Exactly. That's what matters. It's to me. It's not. Oh my God, that's a stab in the heart. Like, oh, I can't believe you would take a picture with Kyrie. It's that okay. I'm gonna note that and understand that Jaylen Brown's got other things, other ideas, other ventures in his mind. He's that was a picture to say, hey, like meeting of the minds. Looking at thinking about
together.
Bigger and better things. Exactly. That's all. And like whatever. But if that's truly what it was, I mean, let's be honest. They're not talking about the Boston Celtics, right?
How do you know? No, they're definitely talking maybe about him leaving the Boston Celtics.
Sure, but
last time Kyrie was caught on camera.
I think Jimmy's spot on.
Kyrie's got some stuff to figure out himself.
Hey, this is Jaylen's personality in a bit, in a sense, right? It's like, look, I'm riding my own wave over here, as in, you should incorporate your teammates, or whatever. That's fine. You're a leader. He's just a leader. It's just as much of, and look, if this is the way he wants to lead, then that's fine. Again, my thing is always about what is he going to do on the basketball court. Because if it doesn't, if you don't see that kind of improvement, you don't see that kind of stride, the narrative is. Then
don't tweet about respect and nonsense like that.
Nick,
keep it all
talk about pictures. We saw pictures of Jason Tatum and Grant Williams posing with Warriors players like 2 weeks after they got smoked by them. Why don't you talk about those?
No, but that was different.
Draymond.
The Warriors players didn't do. Kyrie Irving crippled this team for 2 years, 2 seasons. Everybody else wants to have.
But we know they have a relationship with him.
I don't care. We may know, but why put on your Twitter handle you want respect and then disrespect the people that you want respect from?
I don't know why talk.
Well, for Celtics fans, we've talked about this during that Brooklyn series, and again, all the more relevant with Kyrie's career in flux here. He's not a threat to you anymore. You just swept his team. What is Brown going to go team up with him? Kyrie's career could be over by the time Brown hits free agency, for all we know at this point. So I'm going to move past that now. Again, when Kyrie said it last year, it was just roll your eyes because they had beat the Celtics. Now the Celtics just swept them. The Nets look like they're about to collapse as a franchise.
People are in the chat room saying he didn't disrespect us. I don't get it.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, dude.
Brown?
Dude, he destroyed your coach. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna have a comment.
Yeah, but you just swept them. Yeah. You the players are never gonna make it personal there. That you just kind of have to accept that. They sent a message on the floor.
I'm not trying to change the players. All I'm doing is don't inflame the fans. Keep it chill. Go to your house and chill. No need for photo
That's stupid. That's stupid. That's your own opinion. But like, people can go
They're
take
both
pictures with whoever the
posting a
hell they
picture.
want to, and you shouldn't get upset.
Yes, it was about Kanye, right? It wasn't about Brown.
Why are they hanging out with Kanye?
Buddy. It was about both of them.
Because he's signed him.
Agent.
Are you good?
What, are you going to sign with someone and not hang out with them?
I don't know why he signed
both,
with them.
independent of each other.
Yo, talk to my assistant. I'm not talking to you, but I'll sign with you. But we're not chilling.
I would have.
You're going next. Nick's going full boomer the last like 20 minutes here.
Because everybody in the chat room is saying it's okay. Shit on us. I don't know.
I didn't get that. I just didn't get that. Like I said, the only thing I took out of that was, hey, antenna's up a little bit. I'm not like, oh my god.
Where's Kyrie going?
When
he was saying, gonna be on the Nets next year?
Kyrie?
Yeah, I think he will.
Who the hell? It's impossible to know what.
Nobody wants him.
What
about Durant? What about Durant? That's the real question. What about Durant?
I don't know if the Lakers can.
Really?
I think they're at a
no. Is he staying put? Is what I wanted. Is what I'm asking.
Thank you, Larry. I will.
Who? Durant and Kyrie?
Yeah. Are they just gonna play it back as just angry couple for the kids?
It's tough to tell. It's tough to
staying together for the kids one more year before they go. Before they go to college.
The angriest, most miserable, unlikable people in NBA history. Right there, those two.
Dude, that is just
and I don't know why Durant's unhappy with the situation.
That handshake, that was great. That was cute.
So the word seems to be that Durant doesn't like that the Nets put their foot down on Kyrie, and there's a possibility that they could play together, but he wants out. I don't get that. Like, there's got to be some layer of frustration with Kyrie on Durant's part, right?
Of course.
At this point,
Durant just
because they play together.
Maybe this thing is beyond Kyrie. You know, I think he sees the big picture and saying, like, see a way we can compete with these top teams in the Eastern Conference. You know,
I've said
Chris Middleton's coming back.
Situation,
about Miami Heat. You know, there's a lot of teams ahead of them now, and I think they know that. I think Durant knows that.
Even if they try to run it back, I don't think it's going to go well.
Those same teams that he's afraid of. You know,
the tough part is you can't get a lot for Kyrie. The market for Durant has been minimal, which is amazing to think about. So they might have no choice. All three of them, the Nets, the Durant, Irving.
Great.
They might just have to all try to improve their standing.
What about
I don't know, with Steve Nash as coach and.
Thank you.
Can Washington jump in here and make a deal for Durant with Bradley Beal? Bring him back home. He's from D.C. He's a D.C. native.
Again, if that report was true that we saw floating out there, they were asking for Cat, Edwards, picks, and more from Minnesota. And I don't think anyone can rival that. The Durant deal, given his years on his contract and given where he's at in his career, some of these huge packages we've seen, it would have to be steps and steps above that. And that's where, like, we kicked around the Celtics thing. It was never Brown for Durant. It would have been Brown, Smart, Brogdon, Gallinari, 5 first pay. Like, they would have been insane. So he's not moving. I don't think they're moving. I could see Kyrie move, though. Like, Lakers finally decide that they're done with this Russ thing, and they throw in their picks and maybe try to get help from another team. I think there's a deal to be had there. And would Durant be too mad about being parted with Kyrie if there was good stuff coming back? I don't think he has a choice, given the contract he's on.
I'd love
for
Kyrie
out,
to go to LA.
Is he going to sit out?
It'd be great if he went to the Lakers.
Right?
Durant's not going to sit out. Durant's a gamer. He's the type of guy that, like, he may, you know, he'll play under protest type situation. You know, like, I don't know what's going through his mind today, but if the rumor is that he wants out, and he's made that known.
Isn't it something? Yeah,
that's fine.
We never know
when
anyone's gonna play. We never know what anyone's thinking, right? Because we never get to talk to the players. We haven't heard from Durant since the last game. The Knicks just held a press conference with no questions.
I heard from Durant.
So we're all just sitting here. Yes, you did, Nick. What did you say?
I just said legacy and legend and about Jordan, and I don't know. I did mention him, but I've only mentioned him 2 times ever, and both times he snarks at me. I don't know why. I don't know, but whatever.
Bobby, I saw that tweet that the Knicks put out.
You can make a fadeaway jumper too.
They had that press conference with,
and the highlight was beautiful
with Jalen Brunson, and literally no.
How disgraceful was that?
Watch it, but had no reporters at it.
Yeah.
They just had
questions allowed.
Like the team reporter asked questions.
No, they just talked as a group, and I guess the thinking was they didn't want Mitchell discussion. They didn't want Mitchell discussion going on at Brunson's presser. But have you ever heard anything like that? A presser with no reporters or questions. I mean, what a joke!
It's not
Adam Silver's NBA, boys.
You can't call it a press conference if the press isn't there.
That'd be fine galore. Yeah,
it's honestly pathetic if that's the direction that these teams are going to start to go in.
And it is.
Like that's really sad, and like it's just brainwashing is what it is. You know, I mean, like it's letting the team control the narrative, letting the fan, pretty much it's a slap in the face.
And again,
to the fans.
You say,
I think the fans are that stupid that they're just going to believe everything that comes out of the Twitter account. They're not.
I hope not.
Fans will defend it, though, because they like the players and the teams. And even I saw certain media people defending this, which was so ridiculous. This show, what we've just done, talking about Durant and what the Knicks are thinking, you got to at least talk to someone and ask them. And even if they don't want to answer it, have that opportunity to do it.
Bobby, maybe like the old days.
Guessing.
2 people, 2 sources. 2.
Yeah.
There should be 2.
Not
Woj every time he thinks of something, he tweets out source. No, it should be 2 sources. And this has gotten out of control.
The downside is that people are going to speculate. Yeah, that people are going to speculate without information, without answers, or without. Again, Durant, why does he want to trade? None of us know.
He's beefing with me. He's beefing with me over Michael Jordan. I mean, are you kidding me? Dude, you owe your fans. You owe it. I know everybody here says he doesn't, but he does. He does. I owe our fans here on this show. We all owe it to our fans to be decent and to be at least open, not torment these guys. You guys don't know all the Nets tweeters that I got. I mean, it's really pathetic.
I don't know.
I see people in here.
For a second, so.
It's Twitter.
But
we're talking about the press.
Yeah, but that's what you're talking about. A PR department now running everything through team Twitter accounts.
Yeah,
is this what we want?
What we're seeing. We're not getting.
And the commissioner wants new media, which isn't even new media, but the commissioner wants the players to present their own narratives.
I don't know what the commissioner. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's on the team's dime or whatever there. So I don't really know what his prerogative is. But to Durant's credit, he was one of the vocal advocates of opening the locker rooms up. So I'll give him that again. He said that was important. So
he did say
again, the access has to come back, and luckily it looks like it's going to there. One more thing, though, the Lakers do need Kyrie. I don't know how they can run it back with Westbrook.
That is the nightmare.
That's the only other thing I saw this week.
Hey guys,
Kyrie and LeBron in Lakers in gold and purple. You don't want to see that?
That'd be entertaining. They might recapture some magic.
The nightmare
with that trio.
for Nick.
Kyrie to LA is a dream come true. Kyrie going to play with LeBron, dream come true.
That'd be fun to see that.
Now, we'll see. I want to say one thing. I come off as the angry guy today. I come off as the angry guy today because I just think everybody has to be accountable. That's it.
Okay.
If I say something stupid, I get canceled. That's it. We all have to be.
So don't do that. I think we're gonna probably wrap up the show in a minute, but this is a question that
we're done.
All right, we're done. But I want to throw this to Bobby and Josue if you want to comment too. I don't have a whole lot to say about the summer league team. and I know Nick doesn't either. But if you guys have any standout players, or Nick, you can still stay on, bro. All right, then you're out. See ya. If Bobby, I'll throw it to you. I mean, the question's pretty self-explanatory. For those who are listening, the question is, what do you guys think of the Summer League team?
Stand out what? Summer League players?
What do you think of the Summer League team and the prospects on the team? Do you guys think the Celtics fill in the last few spots with players from free agency or from the Summer League team? And if so, who?
Well, you look at the two players that the two. I just think this is a chance for one of these guys to maybe latch onto one of those final spots. I mean, is that a night? No, I would like to see the Celtics go and get someone for the veteran minimum, but I don't think it's going to be a main acquisition. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll be something that people are going to say like, "Oh, that's a huge pickup." But
no,
I think
Summer League.
Well, no, I mean in terms of trying to address that, the third
those last few spots. My bad.
Yeah, like I'd rather see them do it in house and try to develop these things or not. I like the notion of these guys getting their reps in the G League, because obviously the top guy right now. I think that'll be huge for him and his progression. And I like that to me the most for what he does on defense. But yeah, I think those are the two guys to keep an eye on. Is going to contribute this upcoming season. But it's something that the franchise should be looking forward to for sure.
Bobby, you were
I'm excited.
You were patrolling Las Vegas.
Yes, it was fun, but it ended up being a really good team on the floor as well. I think we wondered, with Neesmith getting traded and all of that, was there really a lot of meat on the bone to look at here in terms of these prospects? And there was. Matt Ryan shooting 50% from three. I think he should be in the picture for one of those roster spots. And you had a game winner from him as well. Two really strong performances. He was part of the team last year. Kabengele,
that game against the Bucks,
really impressive stuff.
Unreal.
That was such a fun game, and Kabengele was going off in that one too. I think he more than earned that position. I was excited about Travion Williams. He just didn't really do enough with the team, and even though Kabengele is older, about 24, I think there's still some upside there as a guy who was picked in the first round, who can pick and pop, pick and roll, pass in the high post, rebound. He had 10 rebounds a game in the G League last year. I think he set the Celtics Summer League record for blocks per game. Rob and others have played for the team, so he was just churning out there. Great energy, great leadership. I got a chance to interview him one-on-one too. Great guy, the nephew of Dikembe Mutombo, by the way. So
heard of him.
He's going to be an exciting guy to watch. Yes, and he might be part of that backup center picture here. And both Brad and Ime said, look out for Luke Cornett. They believe in him in that role. And he's back on a new deal. Is it worse than Dwight, Whiteside, Cousins, some of these options that are out there? I think it's comparable. And Luke did play some good basketball for this team a year or two ago. So I don't hate it. If a better option comes up into the year, you still have those two TPEs. It's risky, I think, to not have a backup plan given Al's age and Rob's injury history here. But they believe in Grant to fill some minutes inside maybe. And Gallinari, I'm not as high on that one. I don't think he can play the 5, but they think he can. So they'll play more small ball with lineups like that this year to try to fill the gap, because I don't think they're excited about the guys that are available, Josue. And are you?
I think so. I really don't.
Yeah. It sucks because I think that's a big role that they have open right now. But can Luke fill it? Maybe.
Yikes!
I just think that's something they could address after training camp. Teams let other players go right before the season starts, and maybe they pick up one of those guys. One of the third string centers that latches on before the preseason. But would
you bring? There'll be a buyout team too.
Would you bring Jawan over, Josue? Did he look ready to you?
Honestly,
I was going to ask you guys that.
I just don't think he's. I don't know. I don't see him as someone that can fit this rotation on Hauser, but he didn't look too great as well. But it's summer league. You don't know how back in training camp. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on him with Brian in the mix and another shooter who sort of plays some of the things that he does on offense. So, but I still don't. I'm not like not like he's a lost cause at this point. Shooting is something that the Celtics absolutely need off their bench, and they do. Then I think either one of those guys has a shot. So hands out between those two. I just think defensively, like if you're unable to address something like that, if you're on high caliber defense, then of making the team right now. If you're trying out for the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rush to bring him over. And I wrote about that yesterday. I did a full deep dive on his summer league, actually. So go check that out. He was really good. He was really exciting.
Got a lot of potential.
He's
got a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong, but
he's only 19. So there's no rush and no need to start a contract where he's just not going to play. I think it's better to have him play. And if CLNS foots the bill, I'll go over and watch him play in Paris, and we'll see him in that environment, see if he's making any strides.
Damn, Bobby,
there.
no pressure.
Hold on. I think Nick is still here. Let's see if Nick will agree. Nick,
can you
Nick,
tolerate a fat old boomer rage in France with you? Because maybe we'll go then. If I can come with you, I don't need to cover games.
Yeah, the only way.
Bobby?
That's the big catch, is that you can go to France, but you have to take Nick with you.
Or Nick has to take Bobby with him.
Bob's like
the guy who's paying.
Yeah, that's the way to word it. Yeah.
So, Bobby, you're going to stay home? You're not going to go?
Oh, man. We'll do it.
That was great.
And you guys have to film like the
me angry?
You got to try to interview him in French.
Must-see TV. Oh, that's true.
I'd do it.
Get the Duolingo.
We'll figure it out.
Ooh, no free ads. We'll have to bleep that out.
I think I need to open Regina's now.
Appreciate you guys.
I'm in.
Sort of
hey, it was good to see you guys again.
But that's what happens when you subscribe. It's your first time checking this out. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back on next week at some point. Maybe we'll get different faces here. We don't know. It'll be a surprise. There you go. So you get that to look forward to.
That's right. It's the summer. Nick. You never know who's going to show up.
Bobby, what hat would you wear in France?
Dude, the little...
Oh, isn't there
a tassel? A little Tammy. A Tammy.
Yeah, you got to rock the...
Yeah.
A Tammy. It's got like the tassel on the side, a Tammy.
I think we got something going here. Yeah, let's look.
Bobby, I'm in. Price it out.
People are asking about Xanis.
John will be back. And I brought the negativity, the fire. You're all good. John does it, though, where he's likable. I come off as so angry.
Well, because you are angry at the time.
I'm kind of angry.
We'll reel that in. We'll get Summer Nick back. We got to get the boys together for. We have to get the crew together for a dinner too, a summer dinner. But trying to get Nick to foot the bill.
No. When John gets back, the plan was to wait for John to come back, and then it'll be a dinner. We will bring all of us. The Garden Report. We'll bring Cedric Maxwell. We'll bring Bob Ryan. Maybe get balls
and we'll take a
picture
there. Together.
We'll take a picture. We'll post it
together. We'll post it.
Get Goodman. I know the chatters love Jeff Goodman. We might bring him there. Felger might show up with John. They're close.
No. Maybe we'll
Nick,
maybe we'll announce. Maybe we'll announce where the dinner is. So and we'll charge a $5 cover, and we'll maybe people want to come.
All right,
make a couple.
I can do that.
I don't think anyone's gonna pay $5.
They probably.
But maybe
would.
we'll announce where we are, and they'll just come hang out.
They won't give a $5 tip in here, but they might pay a cover charge, Jimmy. If you're playing guitar,
they might pay $5 just to say something mean to me. I mean, it's kind of
and me, yeah.
Jimmy,
and Bobby, poor Bobby.
One more thing. Nick, I know you want to drop this. We got to send some love to Evan Lazar, who is moving on to the network.
Lazar.
Yeah. If I could say just two things, I mean, well, maybe three. But one thing I'm very proud of with this company is we've been able to help facilitate careers. And Jared is one. Jared Weiss is a big one. He helped us build our Celtics content along with Jimmy, and then later on with Josue. Lazar moved here really to help build we didn't have any Patriots.
Yeah, we had zero Patriots coverage really to start.
Yeah, we had Trags, who was great, but there was not like the robust.
I don't mean zero.
Yeah, and Evan didn't just bring. He came in and onto the beat and it was like boom, a meteorite. I think like everybody he's just so talented. I know where he's going. It's his place to to kind of tell you guys, and if you're fans of and you follow Patriots CLNS, stay tuned because Evan is just phenomenal, and he'll still be on the Patriots channel often, making appearances and whatnot.
Phenomenal.
Look at Bobby Manning. Bobby Manning's the only one in the history of a pandemic to go from college to immediately full-time employed. Bobby, I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, most people go the opposite way.
I'll tell you how he did it. He came in and said, I can edit after you teach me. And you did, after we taught you. And we got it together, bro. So, and Josue, Jimmy, the love is
Hey, listen, if you want it enough, you'll get it. Manifest that shit. And Evan Lazar wanted it, and that dude is a machine. When he pumps out, film coverage, footage, he can break down highlight. He can break down film like the best of them out there.
Impressive.
And he has a great following, and I'm sure wherever he goes, those people will follow him there. And I'm sure that whoever CLNS gets to fill his shoes will be, just as hungry to be the next Evan Lazar,
or maybe a veteran, Jimmy. Maybe,
yeah. I'm told nothing, so I have no idea. But whoever it is, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Evan. So congrats to Evan, and thanks to everybody for watching. And I think we are out of here. Josue, take it away.
That's a way to end. That's a perfect way to end.
Perfect.
For Evan's announcement, a big one. I don't want to. Again, we don't want to spoil this, but
and shout out Athletic Greens one last time. You want to go to
shout out Xanis, who is in the chat room, just not chatting.
/garden.
Absolutely,
guys, sign up if you haven't already. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, peace.